Cowabunga, it is. All right, here we are.
Cowabunga!
It's turtle time.
Heroes in a half
Living
shell.
his life as a tadpole, getting into fights with assholes.
Assholes. Or whatever they see. Pizza power.
Oh, that
I
stage
actually-
show could probably be its own episode, quite
I
honestly.
actually, it's funny, kind of thinking about for tonight's episode. I was on Amazon Music, and you can find the Turtles in concert, the whole soundtrack, the whole concert.
That is nice.
Yeah, I started listening to it at work, and so the Pizza Power is on that one, and that's the Tadpoles and Assholes song. So
Tadpoles and assholes.
whatever. I mean, if you listen to it at just the wrong time, I swear. I mean, we all heard it the night we were all playing Turtles in Time here. So
Said, what did that just say?
we
Right.
we
Did
all
you hear
looked.
that? Because that's what I heard.
We all heard it. We all heard it. Something about tadpoles and assholes.
And if you want to go test it yourself, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles music group. I mean, that's what I know to call them.
Well, it was from the they toured back in the 90s.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in concert, because everything was in concert back then.
Right.
Is the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, and that was one of the tracks, Pizza Power, and then I guess they slapped that onto the arcade game at the time. So
What was it? Was it Weird Al that did that? Like the originals? Because it sounds like Weird Al.
No, not that I'm aware of.
no, I don't think it was.
I mean, it sounds a lot like Weird Al. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to say it is, but
if it were,
it was the 80s.
it's not worth a copyright strike to play it and find out. I mean,
You're right. Not
Yes.
this early in the game anyway, but we do have the power of the
powers that be.
Yeah. So
And no one wants their wee whacked.
no, not like that. And don't turn your don't tie it up in your microphone head cord either.
Try to hang
It's what it looked like you were doing.
That is not what was happening. Okay,
It's the hands were down here, and there was all this scuffling. I'm just like,
right here on the desk. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of fumbling. And
goes back to the story I had.
see, right now, it looks like he's trying to tie his microphone thing around his.
Back with my late grandfather one day, he was having to try to go relieve himself while we were out in the hayfield. And he dug around in there for about 5 minutes in his britches, and then finally turned around with his shirt tails poking out of his zipper and said, "I know there's a goober in here somewhere." Maybe poor Jones was having a similar situation.
It's down there somewhere.
Down there somewhere. Gotta stick around and find it.
So all right, there's a good hearty 4-minute tangent. We even got into the introductions.
I don't even know what we're talking about yet.
Wow, yeah.
Well,
we're doing good. Now, in all seriousness, in my mind, that's part of the fun of this, and I think why we do it. So, here I am, the host, Tactical Geek. Back with the Voice Geek. He's still holding to the name. He's still holding it.
I'm going to keep it.
Going to keep it. All right. And then back again, slightly evolved in a new form. We now have the Lazy Geek.
The Lazy.
He's no longer the sound geek.
Although I do make random sounds. So,
yeah.
Coming out of our Shells tour. That's what it was called. I was trying to find that this entire
time.
Yeah,
that's what I said. It was coming out of our Shells tour. So,
well, I'm deaf. I can't help it.
Well, once again, I'm
the deaf one.
What?
My research machine is gotten sabotaged by Microsoft, and updates are underway.
How about you're doing Windows updates, aren't you?
Oh yeah, they are. and there is nothing smooth or quick about it.
We have a visitor.
It always tells you something fun, like keep your computer on.
Now we're early enough in this episode. I think he could probably go ahead and throw his pitch.
We can. Hey, son, the Transformer Geek wants to throw a pitch. You know what to tell him. What do they need to do they all need to do? Put it on there. They need to.
So, guys, I got something to show you guys. But I might need to take off the headphones because I got two new toys.
That's not what I'm talking about.
What is it?
They got something to show you.
Like and subscribe, or else I'll hunt you down. If I don't come to your house, you need some milk.
All right.
There you have it. So be sure to like and subscribe, or he's going to deliver some milk.
Yeah, if you don't, he'll hunt you down, come to your house, and deliver you some milk.
Deliver
something to
some
that
milk.
effect.
A little bit of milk makes everything better.
It does.
So yeah, we actually, hey, there we go. We did that early for once.
Right, which not at the end this time.
Like, yeah. So yeah, great week since the last episode. Had a little bit of time to kind of get ready for this next one. Yeah, no, it's been a great week. Great, been a good day. So yeah, we'll hop on into it. Starting off, you got to start with the rough one, the one I think everybody has certain degrees of PTSD from. you got to start with the NES one.
The underwater swimming one.
Oh,
that level
mines, the water mines, and the zap whatever that I don't know. What was it? Seaweed.
Supposedly,
electrical seaweed.
Yeah,
electrical seaweed.
I mean,
you had those spinning firearms. You had the. All right. You had the. That electrical pulse thing and those currents that tried to pull you in. So. It was rough.
I think I literally I'm not even joking. When I got to the underwater portion of that game, I tried it and played it so much that I finally just gave up and just put the game down for like a month. And didn't touch it again. Did not touch it again for a solid month. Just didn't want anything to do with it. I was so frustrated and pissed off at that game.
It was an effort. And to go ahead, again, to kind of, it's been a great day. I want to go back to my good stuff that I was still sipping on for my birthday. More Four Roses single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's very nice.
Well, I see your Kentucky bourbon straight whiskey, and I raise you a Sprite.
Sprite and a Nutty Buddy bar.
I will
see that. Crunch.
Dude, if I had a Nutty bar right now, I'd be eating it.
And raise you a big
bladder bomb.
The bladder bomb. That's right.
Bomb. That's the kidney stress test.
Don't break the seal.
Hey, I'm passing the test every time, as long as I'm not passing the stone.
Yeah. So, it's I did a similar thing, and back then, and I think we've said it before, we had the time and we didn't appreciate it. We had the time to sit and play these games, and you could get frustrated and then walk away. And I don't know, we had no quit back then. Like nowadays, if a game just pisses me off with design or mechanics or whatever, I just uninstall it and go on. I don't have time now. But back then it was just like, it's Ninja Turtles. I got to play it. It's
I don't care how mad I am at it.
Well, that was a lot of franchise games back then. It didn't matter. It's all we had. It's a Turtles game.
Beat you.
It's a Ghostbusters game. It's any of those franchise games. It was just, I don't know. We didn't know any better. we took some abuse back then.
Well, I mean, that's all we had, right? It kind of goes back to the difficulty, the what they term Nintendo difficult or NES difficult. It's what we had. There wasn't anything else. There were no difficulty levels. There weren't any settings. There was no options. It was just press start to play.
Yeah.
Done. And so that's what we had. And, well, by God, we had to adapt or we died. That was your choices: adapt or die.
Yeah, and that was one of those games. And as I've looked at like various lots for sale over the years, I think every kid had that game, especially the first one. In my mind, I see the second, and then the third one even less.
The second one, actually, dude, I mean, I played the second one. Really, I played in because it was the arcade version, basically what was released in the arcade. So,
but that was a much bigger hook too, because it's like, I've played the arcade version. I can get much further in that one. Okay, let's get this one. Let's bring this one on board.
Yeah.
And
that's what I didn't. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't get it, because I'd already played it in the arcade and I actually beat it in the arcade.
And that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's why I didn't get it, because it was just like, oh, this is just the arcade version, just for the NES,
and not losing $25 worth of quarters.
Yeah, $25 worth of quarters.
I honestly don't know why I didn't pick it up. I had the first NES game, Turtles 2, the arcade game, come out, and I don't know if it's because I was moving on to something else, like we had discussed in one previous episode, or if it's because maybe I knew you had it, and I was at your house every single day during the summer anyway, and we played the holy crap out of it. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Let's see that.
Well, of course, you guys are a little bit older than me, so you might have been towards the end of that turtle craze a little bit, exiting it, where I was still firmly locked into that prime. But yeah, like I said, a lot of retro lots. Everybody had the first one. Had that original comic book style artwork, even in the characters and everything else throughout the game.
Well, I had I originally, like, I played we rented the original NES game, the original Turtles game, and that was where I started playing it, and it was just enough to say, hey, this is actually worth getting. But then again, I hadn't made it to the water area.
Sucker.
I both regretted that decision later on. But we rented it first, and that's how a lot of the games that I got, that was kind of the tried and true thing, was we would go rent it first, and then we'd see if we wanted it, and then if we actually wanted it,
yes,
if you couldn't beat it over the weekend.
That's what I loved about renting games back then. Yeah, it was a good safety net to prevent.
It was worth buying.
Because I mean, we've said before how our budgets were tight back then. You didn't want to screw that up if you could help it.
I mean, we were kids.
Well, I mean, you get one game, basically either on Christmas or birthday,
or your birthday.
Yep.
And those were the two. That was the two times that you were going to get a game, was a Christmas or birthday, and so you had upwards of possible 2 games per year that you could get. And so the question therein lies was, who is worthy? Which one is the worthy game? What am I going to get?
I get the most bang for my buck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so there was, it was a good safety net to be able to rent a lot of those games. It's like there was a lot of games that I didn't fall on that list, like Rygar. Yeah. It was a good game, but I pretty much beat it, over the weekend.
And that saved a lot of money too. The easy rentals that you could beat over the weekend, and there was even some rentals I'd rent multiple times just to have it, play it, beat it over the weekend. And
the Dick Tracy game, I did that with. I rented it more than once, and played it more than once, and what have you. I beat it, but there you go.
But yeah, we went to which this is a throwback, because of course they're not there anymore. But you remember Celebration Station?
I do.
Yes. The big, it had an arcade and had all this other fun jazz. Well, we went over there for I don't even know why we went over. I think it was a birthday party. I think is what originally
that's usually why people went to Celebration Station.
I think we were over there for a birthday party. And so, I just got handed, here's some money. This is for your lunch, whatever. It doesn't cost, for this, you can put towards games. Gotcha.
Right.
So me and a couple other guys that I was actually in school with, we hopped on the Ninja Turtles arcade game and we pumped quarters into that thing until we beat it.
Well,
that was when I beat. I mean, it was in one setting. It wasn't over. Of course, I'd played it before, but I hadn't played it to that extent where it was just like, I don't care if it's going to cost me $20. I'm beating this darn thing. And so we sat there and pumped quarters into that dude until we beat it.
So me and Voice have a very similar story. We traveled a little bit further for our quest. From when we were growing up, we basically lived at Dollywood over the summer, and that was the closest one that we were aware of that you could find the Turtles arcade game. And I remember we had it planned out. We knew when we were going to be going. We'd saved up our quarters, and so our quest, to beat the first Turtles arcade game was at Dollywood, and we did it.
We did.
I think I remember when we crossed the finish line. It was me and you, and then I think we ended up picking up two other randoms there at the very end.
Right, and that was the beauty about Dollywood, is that arcade. We had people coming in and out all the time, and so people would just you have people walk in, throw their quarters in, play, die, walk off. They didn't commit, and so
we were there from level 1 to the end.
Committed. We're going to do this.
One
way or another. Hell or high water.
And I do remember. I think it was about $25 worth of quarters that I ultimately sunk into that game on my as part of my run beating that. So
I don't even remember what I brought. I don't recall.
Whatever was there, and we made it work.
And here's the thing: is what's funny is I did the same thing with the X-Men arcade, but in Opryland on a 7th grade school trip.
Nice.
And I remember because I had spending money, right? And that's what we spent it on. I know it was me and 2 or 3 others in my class that were there, and we played all the way through X-Men and beat that. But that's
Yeah,
I don't remember a lot of arcades here locally actually having that one. Oddly enough, I never really played that one a whole lot. I mean, I do remember it, and I did play it, but not compared to the Turtles craze at the time.
Right.
I'm trying to think of where I played X-Men at, because I know I played the full out of that one too. I played that one, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game and the X-Men game were the two that, and of course that at the time, those were the two big cartoons. You had the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Saturday morning cartoons. You had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then the X-Men. Of course, that was back late 80s, early 90s.
Early 90s for the X-Men cartoon.
X-Men cartoon was like 91.
Well, no, because that might have been late 80s, because that wasn't based on the new cartoon yet. The one everybody knows. It was still based on original comic designs. That just popped back in my head. Yeah.
Because I was thinking it wasn't because it's always weird when you look back, because it felt like, my gosh, that show aired forever. But then you get to looking at it and it was like, oh, well, it had like 3 seasons. And it's like,
right.
Oh crap, it had to have more than 3 seasons. It's like, no, that you only got to watch it once a week.
92 for the arcade game.
Our attention spans were too short back then to realize that every time we watched it, we probably watched the same episode at least 60 times.
Well,
easily.
You would watch.
They never showed them in order. Growing up, I swear, growing up, like in the original X-Men cartoon, and good Lord, we're on a tangent now.
I know.
But I swear they stayed on Genosha Island for like 6 months. And then later when I watched it, I was like, it was like 2 episodes. 3 like it was nothing. And it was 92 for the X-Men arcade game.
But anyway, we digress. So,
but going. I mean, because so the first level of the NES Turtles, getting us back on task.
Cakewalk.
It was a cakewalk. I mean, really, you thought, okay, this is a pretty decent, balanced game. The mechanics are pretty, straightforward. I love the overworld. That blew my mind for the time. Because you didn't see that in a lot of games. It's like, the sewer, you go in the building, you got this whole other, and then the above ground, and you get to drive the turtle van,
right? The party wagon.
The party wagon. So I love the overworld concept. The first level, nobody talks about it. And then
running over Foot Clan soldiers with the turtle van.
Yeah, and then you get to the dam, and it's like, okay, getting through the dam's a little rough. Okay, you're up top, walk across it, dive in, and then hell starts. Here comes hell.
It's a wet hell.
A cold, wet hell of electric seaweed.
Oh man, that level is the stuff of nightmares.
And we talk about it. Everybody talks about it. There's memes about it. What's the one? Tell me where your childhood trauma started, or whatever, or where your anxiety started.
Yeah.
But once you learn the trick to that level, once you actually figured it out, it was easy. It was a cakewalk.
Just tap.
How did I hit electric seaweed? I was nowhere near it.
But once you figured it out, it was nothing. And then, and in my mind, the rest of the game was a cakewalk. And I know there's some back and forth. There's a few spots. Don't get me wrong. And maybe it's just because I spent good God, probably upwards of a year and a half on the electric seaweed.
At least it seems that way.
At least it felt that way at the time. I don't know.
Electric seaweed.
That's what we're got. Electric seaweed. That's like the name of a club or something.
A band.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go down to the electric seaweed.
Right. But in my mind, the rest of the game just fell into place so much easier for me. And whenever I would eventually, when I got into my routine of being able to just do the straight run through and beating it, I had no other issues. Outside of, there's a few jumps, and the Technodrome was pretty dang rough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, but just for whatever reason, I just did not spend as much time there. And maybe that's why it felt like, it was less hell compared to electric seaweed.
I do recall that this was one of those games, and Ultra was the name of the company that released it and made it. But the thing
Ultra.
is, well, I mean, it's still around.
I know.
Because I mean, the thing is, in that day, Nintendo, in order to keep the market being oversaturated, would only allow game developers to release so many games per year. And to get around that, game companies would create subsidiaries and these other companies branching off of it. So Ultra Games was actually a branch off of Konami.
Yeah.
And so it was released by Ultra Games, and they were one of those gaming companies that was notorious for creating your enemy spawns as you jump to
the next screen.
Yeah, as you went across, they would just spawn in and just keep coming at you. And if you went backward and it came back, they would come back.
They came back.
They didn't just come in one time. They would come back every freaking time.
It was a mechanic of the game. And as I've learned more about the original Turtles game, that's one of those things, like every video, every how-to, everybody that's giving you tips is like, keep moving forward. Everywhere you can help it, keep moving forward, but do not refresh that screen to go back. And there
was one area that keep moving forward bent you over.
It was unavoidable
because it was big jump, made it big jump. There's an enemy spawn, whack,
Bam.
Knock you right into the pit.
Yeah.
And it would spawn right at that perfect height. They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose.
I don't know. Sometimes I think they just didn't know any better back then. I swear it was just like a random,
Oh no, they were overlords. I know it.
They were. They were. But yeah, I like the comic themes with this one. Even though at the time I didn't realize it. That's one of those after the fact things growing up later. I do appreciate the comic aspects of it, before, because it came out, when the comic was still kind of the thing, and that was what everything was going for, before the cartoon took over everything. And that became the dominant Turtles, basically. So, it kind of ties back to why, the first movie was so surprising, for us kids growing up, was that you walk into it and turtles are cussing and it's dark and gritty. And,
this is awesome.
But then I remember, we go to the second game and suddenly it becomes this it's familiar. It's the arcade game, obviously repackaged.
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing we can say about the arcade game. We've pretty well told our stories about it, how that one went. And that's our legendary stories of beating them. You had a sack of quarters, and but so for me, it was the idea of I've got the arcade at home. Because that time was kind of precious and rare to have, to just sit in an arcade and play that much time.
Right.
Especially
that much money.
And spending that much money. And I do remember the local grocery store, they did briefly have the Turtles.
They did. I'm not sure what it was called. I think it was Piggly Wiggly.
I think it was a Piggly Wiggly.
It was.
Yeah, at the time, but they did have
it. Down here, they had it. And then I want to think they might have had the X-Men too.
At one point.
Yeah.
They probably did. I know they actually rotated machines in and out a lot. I know that one. I remember them having Russian Attack. I remember them having Bad Dudes. They had POW. They had
Bad Dudes.
For a Piggly Wiggly, it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I expect that kind of rotation from an actual arcade. Not a grocery store.
Big Lots had some oddities.
Yeah,
there, like
they did.
Combat and. Then they had that what was it, Off-Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
I play. That's another one I put way too much money into.
Well, and that reminds me, I mean, everything had an arcade back then. I mean, I guess it was just easy. I mean, we were too young, obviously, looking to maybe trying to order one or get one, but I guess it was just easy to order these cabinets. And if you think about the Wizard, that's kind of a theme that even holds in the Wizard. They're stopping at all these little, restaurants and truck stops and whatnot. Everybody's got an arcade machine.
These mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down to the local Choke and Puke and play Ninja Turtles.
That's like I said, but I do miss those old places.
Pizza Hut, the old school Pizza Hut.
That's right.
Back always had Galaga and Pac-Man and Galaxa and what was the?
Yeah,
I don't even think I said that last one right, but
Galaga.
That's right.
There we go.
I think Gallagher just crazy hair and smashing things.
Yeah, but and that's something if you remember about the second one, the arcade game. You got your little free Pizza Hut personal pan pizza coupon. I mean, you could do anything back then, and we were happy with the reward of a free personal pan pizza. I mean, we were not hard to satisfy back then.
They were so good, though.
They were. And now you can't find a Pizza Hut for your life.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking about that the other day to somebody, and that's right. That was when Pizza Hut was good. That was when Pizza Hut was good.
It was real good.
I just go back to the when they actually had like their Supreme Pizza. They had a Supreme Pizza, and it was literally like, I mean, like you hear people joke about it, calling them a pie, but this thing was an actual pie. It had like all the toppings and everything were underneath a layer of cheese, and this thing was like, it was like 2 inches thick. So when they cut it out, you know, I mean, it looked like a piece of pie coming out on the plate.
That's just thinking about that sets so heavy on my stomach.
Oh my golly, it was so good. And we would get those, like we ordered it, and like one piece of pizza, and I was full. And I mean, like
I'm sure. Happens. I'm sure.
I mean, like nowadays, that never happens.
And like by the way, thank you for watching.
Yes,
I'm glad to have a viewer and have that commentary. So no, much appreciated. Thank you.
I know that person.
It's appreciated. I just say it. That's how we build things.
that Spread the word. Pizza Hut was good.
Yeah. But I was
wrong. It was good.
It was, but that's what I was talking to my coworker about, and he was talking about it. He said he had Pizza Hut recently, and I'm like, "Where are you at? That there's a Pizza Hut still?" And he was telling me about it. So but it's not as good anymore. That's why we lost ours locally, and like I said, I'd have to Google the closest one and then make a special trip to find it. But yeah, you know, you got your little card. You know, free personal pan pizza with purchase of the game. You know, which, you know, that's the other funny part about that. You know, you think back to the first Turtles movie. You know, Domino's Pizza, and but then everything shifted to Pizza Hut. Domino's got the credit in the movie, but then Pizza Hut was getting all the free vouchers to bring people in for the personal pan pizzas.
And hey, as many people as you can send our way, we will thank you for every dang one of them.
Yes, definitely.
And the thing is, knowing what kind of information you know and what knowledge you have, we can bring you on one day too. Yeah,
definitely. We will be looking for guests, and that's, you know, kind of how you grow these things from what I've seen. As I've said numerous times to the others, I have no dreams of being some famous person, you know, but if we get a decent little subscriber base, I'm having a blast just talking about the old times. So,
right.
Anybody else that wants to come, and if you want to get on chat one night, you know, if the topic's right, absolutely.
So, but yeah, free voucher, Pizza Hut, rest its soul. I don't know why it's going.
And at that time, you know, you went in with your voucher from the Turtles game. You probably got a shit. Hang on.
Gosh, I done went and forgot what I was going to say.
Land Before Time. You got a Land Before Time puppet.
How could you forget Land Before Time?
I don't know. It just wasn't there. I was like, land, something,
Lando.
time, dinosaurs,
landmine.
So I Googled. I had to Google land dinosaur movie, and then I just need the sentence finished for me. But you got your Land Before Time puppet. I mean, they gave those away for I swear it felt like for 4 years. They must have made 20 million of those puppets.
And then you can get it eaten by a Tyrannosaurus. Too soon?
Yeah.
Too soon. Yeah. A lot of childhood trauma, that movie. And
we went from happy dinosaurs to let's go faster.
Objects in rearview mirror are closer than they appear. But yeah. So all sorts of good freebies come with games, like the free pizza, and kids today just don't know. They really don't.
Yeah. But you're right. You know, we were not hard to please back then. Read a book, I get a pizza. All right.
Right.
All right.
No, ours wasn't just reading books too. It was
math problems, St. Jude's Mathathon.
Like you didn't miss if you had good attendance, or you got your grade card. You take in your grade card. You remember those?
Take it to Druthers.
Yeah.
Get so many A's, you get a free meal. Get this many A's, you get a free burger. You get some fries, get a drink.
Oh my gosh, I love Druthers. That was another one that went out of way, and I was just like, oh golly. I'm sitting here getting hungry now, thinking about food, y'all. So,
used to be a Druthers.
You're welcome.
And it turned into the building that Druthers was in is now a combo Taco Bell KFC.
Well, see, that's not the case. The one that my Druthers was in was turned into a Dairy Queen and then turned into a insurance place.
I know where you're at. I know where you're at now. Yeah.
Is that out there beside the local?
You're actually forgetting it was also briefly a used car dealership.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't really. Yeah. No.
And I remember that because that's where I got one of my vehicles.
Which one was that? The Corolla?
No, it was the Eclipse, actually.
Oh, Lord.
That's where we got the Eclipse.
I
done broke it.
Thought about that Eclipse.
Yep.
Done broke it.
Yep, it's dead. It's been dead for a while.
Done up and broke that dude.
Done gone went done went and done it.
Done did it.
So yeah, back on task. Turtles 2, the arcade game. You got the arcade experience. Obviously, it was a little watered down. You didn't have as many enemies. The graphics weren't as good.
Right.
But it was still that novelty. You couldn't have the 4 players.
Only have 2.
Yeah. But
we
it did, and we got extra levels.
We did.
Everybody, a lot of people forget that, but you had the snowy, what I would assume is Central Park, and then you had this random Japanese style like castle. I don't know where that was at in New York.
Chinatown,
maybe. But then you fought that weird giant, like almost like samurai suit of armor boss.
It was a Robo Samurai.
Yeah. But and getting just a little sentimental here. I'll be brief with it. I will say this was one of the few games, maybe actually the only game that Dad played with me, and I do remember me and him in the bedroom. I plopped down one side of the bed, he plopped down the other, and because I had my own little TV in the room, and we played through as far as we could, and with what he could do, he wasn't, he was not a gamer, but he didn't understand it, but I do remember that was one of the few games me and him played.
So that's how you end up getting controllers chucked at TVs, though. That's exactly what that is.
I must say, I've heard some stories about some other individuals we know that chuck controllers. Dad didn't, oddly enough, for mine and his shared temperament. Neither of us did, but I do remember we played that. I think we got as far as the snowy Central Park level, and honestly, and I need to go back and look at the mechanics of the game and maybe actually get good, I guess. I could only ever get about as far as the snowy Japanese castle style levels, unless I had a Game Genie in play or the cheat code or something, some other assistance to carry me on through to the remainder of the game. So, and then we got, I don't know, has anybody else got anything on Turtles 2? The arcade game? I know we're doing a high level. This is going to be the whole, because they're beat 'em ups. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can really say about beat 'em ups. So we are going to move fast through these. So
I think number 3, Manhattan Project, was next.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this didn't have an arcade release. These just, they kept the same format moving forward. The side-scrolling beat 'em ups.
Yep.
So Manhattan Project was next on NES, and I think this is where they added the special moves where you could hit both buttons and they would do a special.
And this is the one, and I've watched a video on it recently, where if you're good with the mechanics, it was a lot much easier to get through this game than Turtles 2 was, because the Turtles 2 was obviously, it was more of just a direct port, whereas this one was way more original. And yeah, the video I watched, I think it was How to Beat Video Games. Check out that guy's channel. I love his he gives you a lot of insight on how to beat games and stuff you've never even considered. And to do it legit. I love that guy's channel and his dog. Yeah, I think it was How to Beat Video Games. And if I'm wrong, then I'm giving him credit for a game he ain't done. But he's still a great channel because I learned a lot about Simon's Quest from that channel. But yeah, that's where a lot of mechanics come into play. That if you're good, you can get. Yeah, you don't need the codes and all this other stuff. But we got a lot of extra bosses and characters in that game that we hadn't seen before. Because before it was always, the usual list. Shredder, Crank, Bebop, Rocksteady.
Baxter Stockman.
Right. It was the usual list of villains. Whereas this one, you got Leatherhead, you got Ratbag. Yeah.
Oh, what was the cyborg turtle?
Metalhead. Yep. I love Metalhead. I was
gonna say I liked him.
I love Metalhead. He is, and as obviously a massive action figure collector, Metalhead is probably one of my. I'm not saying he is my favorite, but he is one of my favorite turtle toys. It just has it's an awesome toy. I'm tempted to go grab the one behind me right now and put it on camera. Actually,
do so. I'll be back. I'm sorry, I'll be back.
Okay, well, I won't break the flow. I'll keep the conversation going. I'll get Metal.
You drinking too much? I see what you're doing.
Who?
Oh, Voice.
Oh yeah.
He had that bladder bomb.
He had that bladder.
Gotta go.
He's gonna break the seal. You don't break the seal. It's all good. But yeah, now I'll pull Metalhead here in a minute. But yeah, no, Metalhead. I've always loved that figure. The boss fight.
See, I liked him in the story.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because he's always a villain in the games. He's always a boss, but
he wasn't.
He wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah, and if you look at the original file cards for those turtle toys, there's a lot of characters, Metalhead included, that ended up on the one side of the fence or the other. Just I don't know if they just creative liberties, whatever. But now Metalhead's a definite favorite of mine. I still have my original Metalhead. I think maybe even most of his accessories.
See, I only actually had two of the original turtles, like their the figures,
right?
And that was, but that goes back to the, at the time, I was a little older. Not going to be asking for little, figures or something like that at the time. I'm going to be asking.
Right. I get that. Yeah. You guys had that a little bit of edge on me you kind of were at the tail end of a lot of that stuff. I had a similar of course, granted, I still ended up collecting toys all the way on up through high school. But I do kind of remember that. I do remember that mark where it was kind of like do or die. It was Power Rangers for me. I do remember that line, and then I was just like, the hell with it. I like Power Rangers, and bullies and every other asshole I went to high school or middle school with that, brushed that stuff off, be damned. I pressed forward.
I watched,
but I do remember that line where like, you're kind of like, okay, I should ask for other things or maybe get into other things. And I didn't.
I mean, I watched the cartoons. I watched the shows. It was like Power Rangers. I watched the full out of Power Rangers. I wanted, dude, I so wanted, the Green Ranger.
Yes.
And and the Dragon
Zord.
I wanted him so bad.
I had them.
You know, I mean, you could have kept every other Zord, every other Ranger, but I wanted the Green Ranger and I wanted the Dragon Zord.
The Dragon Zord. I had them, and I say had because honestly, of all my stuff, and you know how well I've kept a lot of my stuff over the years.
Yeah,
I can't find my Power Rangers. I had the Megazord, the Dragon Zord, the next series of Zords. I dropped about the Ninja time. I have no idea. And maybe I've just not, I don't know. I mean, I've moved so much from mom and dad's. I mean, I've pretty well accounted for everything. It's kind of weird, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I've got stuff that I'm missing. Like for the life of me, I can't find my original Virtual Boy. Oh. And trying to replace one of those is like, you know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, ugh.
Oh, that one hurts. That one sucks, man.
Sitting there thinking, you know, I know it's somewhere.
Right.
Where is it?
Yeah, because that thing is definitely worth some money. And what I've always told people, a lot of times with some of the stuff that I've still got from collecting over the years, it's not so much the value to me. All of it, I know if I were to sell some of my stuff, I could probably do pretty good. I'm too lazy, honestly. But a lot of it comes back to it's sentimental.
Well, I mean,
it's memories attached to so much of this that reminds me of, you know, of just a different time. I won't necessarily say a better time, you know, and act like everything's just horrible now, but you know, just a different time. And that's what I love so much about, you know, when I collect and keep so much of my stuff. But
well, I mean, that's the whole reason why I've kept a lot of my stuff is just because of the fact that, you know, it's sentimental, but it reminds me of, you know, kind of what it was like, because, you know, a lot of the technological era, and that's what I really like about, especially in you know, when talking about the 80s in particular.
Yeah.
Because you had stuff like the original NES, but you had precursors that came out before the NES, like the Atari, you know, the Odyssey, or the Commodore 64. You had stuff that they didn't really break out, you know, they were kind of more niche markets, but, you know, that the way that we were able to play and interact with stuff and each other,
yeah,
it just turned on its head. It was completely different than how you know, before, you know, you know, if it was a crappy day, well, you just sitting inside.
Yeah,
you know,
it changed a lot, and that's what I often tell people. That's what I miss about that original era. You know, is it still brought us together. You know, and and that's what I love so much about talking about a lot of this stuff is we have these shared experiences. I mean, didn't even know you back then, and you had a similar experience going to an arcade, dumping in a sack full of quarters to beat Ninja Turtles.
Oh, golly, there's so many quarters.
And we did the same thing at a completely different arcade. And yeah, it's that shared experience, you know, and that's what I love about the old consoles is you still got together with people. You still saw someone in person. You heated up your pizza bagels. Sorry, folks, I'm a pizza bagel guy. You know, people like their.
There's nothing wrong with pizza bagels.
Hey, I have met the camp that will defend. They will die on that hill for their pizza rolls. Their molten lava pockets.
Oh my gosh, dude. I do not enjoy. I mean, like, they're good.
Yeah.
But they're good like 30 minutes after you've cooked them.
Yeah, you've got to wait forever. Pizza bagel, you're ready to rock.
You know, why in the world? I cook it, I heat it. I want to be able to pull it out of the oven and eat it, or at least pull it out of the microwave or whatever.
And eat it sometime within the next century.
Eat it within the next, 5 minutes.
Hell yeah. Bagel Bites. There it is. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's like Hot Pockets. It's like, yes, I want to bite into something that is basically the equivalent of liquid hot magma.
It's molten lava in a pocket.
And what's even worse is that when you drag it out and it drips across like your lip and your chin and down your face, and then you're screaming bloody murder trying to get essentially it's like napalm.
If you miscalculate just that one little bit,
not to mention that you poke a hole in it or something and the steam blows out and flies, up in your face,
burns your nostrils,
burns your nose hairs and everything else out. I mean, it's no, it's just no.
Third degree, yeah.
Third degree bot burns.
The voice is back.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I have a good theory for what happened. It's all good.
It happens.
It happens. Hey, people tag in and out of these live streams all the time. No worries. We kept it going. We kept it going. You missed a whole conversation about bagel bites and pizza rolls.
Delicious.
Exactly. Well, we were talking about how we miss with a lot of these old games, it brought people together in person. So you still socialize. You still had all this stuff that I don't know. It's missing. I miss so much.
Well, it's like I said, the way that people played changed. Like the whole tapestry changed during the 1980s, and that's I guess that's too kind of what frustrated a lot of our parents. because
we were all inside suddenly making a ruckus instead of being outside.
It's 3 a.m. What in the ever living hell are you doing?
The GoldenEye days,
oh my gosh.
For example.
I mean, and that's what happened. I mean, that is what happened every time. We would be doing something, and then you hear a ruckus, and then you turn around, and there's an angry dad telling you what time it was.
Yet another memory of my dad. Man.
As if you should know.
Yeah. Oh, my dad was a stickler for that.
That was weeks ago. I'm partying tonight. No, that's tonight.
My dad, he worked, he was day shift, night shift, day shift, night shift. He varied. So a lot of times, and Voice knows this, there was coordination in when we did our sleepovers.
Yep.
To where it was typically either a night shift or he was off. Because if it was on a day shift cycle, then there had better not be the slightest creak in the house.
Right. I remember your mom kicking us out during the day. We could not play inside. Yep. We had to go outside.
When he come off a night shift to sleep in the morning. Yeah.
So those were...
I do remember that.
Those were some days. And I have 2 words for you. Pong Thud. Pong Thud. That's a little inside thing there.
Oh, yeah. Angry mom and dad worked night shifts. Didn't give a hoot when he went to bed. Yeah. He wasn't there. He didn't care. Yeah, and that's why we typically coordinated, when my dad was on night shift. Because mom was way more understanding, and I don't mean that as a knock against my dad.
I'm pretty sure that your mom, we could have herded cattle through your house, and she'd have went to sleep and wouldn't have known it until the next morning.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure too. But the Pong Thud, and it's going back to when we were kids, we gamed all, wait until way late at night. And years ago, I got for Christmas, it was not Nerf, it was some off-brand, and to their credit, it was far better than Nerf. It was a Nerf, and I'll use Nerf as the blanket term. It was a Nerf missile launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and I mean, it was a missile.
This thing
was probably this. I mean, it was a missile at least a foot long.
It was huge.
And you put it on this shoulder-mounted device, missile launcher.
It was like a Nerf football with fins.
And you'd pump it. And you could see the spring click, 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 and it'd go out probably about a foot as well. I mean, this thing was probably 3 feet long overall with the missile attached. So I got this for Christmas one year, and fully loaded, that rocket would fly.
Yes.
Well, I kept it primed under my bed in case I wanted to blast my sister.
Poor sis.
Well,
I told you she should have beat you up with a pool noodle while you slept.
I probably had it coming. Voice over here, Dingus over here. Let me adjust for the camera. He's asleep on the floor in the sleeping bag, and his hand goes to roaming under the bed, and he finds said missile launcher. He finds
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, he finds the trigger, clicks it, pong. I mean, because the spring fully, ready, thud, because you hear this thing flying. I swear, and I know it wasn't, but 300 feet per second into the wall. And I'm like,
dead silent in the night.
And we just sit there, and we're just waiting,
we
waiting for the parental units to come in.
The angry ogre,
and we just wait. And then a few minutes go by, and we think, all right, we're okay. We're okay.
That's what one of our other friends, actually, you'll know kind of who I'm talking about, but went over to his house, and I graduated with him from high school, and we got into a fight with socks, these giant poop socks, that his dad wore, and we would ball up one, shove it down to the end of one of the tube socks, and then we commenced to just beating the ever living dog piss out of each other with them in the basement one night on a sleepover. Me and 3-4 other people, including him, and his mom came downstairs, and his mom's a rather no nonsense kind of individual, but she basically informed us that the giant red-headed ogre would be down if we did not quit. And if he found his socks in such a state, we would all be in
there would be a great gnashing of teeth.
It'd be wailing and gnashing of teeth, great pain.
Belts will fly.
It'd be awful. So we quickly put his socks back. Of course, he was going to be wearing socks where one was normal size and the other one was stretched out about 3 foot long. Oh, yeah, it was bad. It was so bad.
All right, I'm sorry. Hell of a tangent, but good fun, good times. Again, I'm just going to reiterate that's part of why we end up talking about these games is they're connected. They're connected to so much for us.
It just streams one memory into another memory.
Yeah. So. There's not much else I can say about Turtles 3. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's still, I love my beat 'em ups, back then. It was at the tail end of the NES, though. I mean, admittedly.
See, I dug the, like a lot of those, like Bad Dudes, Double Dragon.
I loved my beat 'em ups. I mean, I did. I really did. I don't know what it is. I mean, they're very simple. Easy to get into, but hard to master games.
Right.
And then you got the the big one, and probably my favorite, the SNES version of Turtles in Time. Sorry, assholes and tadpoles. I love the Super Nintendo version, and honestly, I will say, for my money, the Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time is better than the arcade one. Even though the arcade one has the Pizza Power song, because they couldn't quite get that onto that SNES cart.
Yeah.
The added levels and what they changed for the Super Nintendo Turtles in Time just made that game amazing. And then the graphics were on par with the arcade. I loved that game. The added levels. Yeah, my only gripe with that one was they didn't use the multi tap, so you could actually use the 4 turtles with people in that game.
Right, and that was a missed chance.
And we tried it, just in case to test it. Remember that we did that several years ago.
Yeah,
I think it's been almost 10 now. The way the time flies, but we did try it, and there's absolutely no option to get 4 turtles, even with the Super Nintendo multi tap.
It was not there, so it just simply wasn't programmed in, and that is a missed opportunity, because that could have been awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, they had the technology to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they program it in?
Well,
it was more of that tadpoles and assholes. I mean, that's exactly why they do it.
As I work through it, the only thing I can think of is, even though you could have got all 4 turtles on, I'm wondering if you would have still hit an issue memory-wise with the amount of enemies.
Maybe now we're going to start slowing down and have some graphical chugging.
And that would make sense, and I get that. It is what it is. That's the only thing I can think of with Turtles in Time, is why they didn't do that. Because obviously it would be super easy with 4 players, but you can still only spit out, 4-foot soldiers at a time.
This is true.
So, but after that, I mean, I'm not going to do a complete history of the Turtles games. There was some. Honestly, I thought the Game Boy games were really good.
Never got to play those.
I had. Shoot, I can't remember. I think I had one. I may have had one, maybe 2. They were pretty good. They weren't bad. They really weren't. But beyond that, like I said, I'm not going to do a complete history. Turtles kind of went quiet after that. I mean, they had games, but they never appealed to me because, once you got into the arcade series, the beat 'em ups, that's all I cared about. And I know some of them were kind of like beat 'em ups, but I don't know. They just never appealed to me. I never hopped into them until we arrived to today with Shredder's Revenge. And my gosh, have I been jonesing for that game. I've been playing the shit out of it.
Me too.
It's such a great throwback to the games we've been talking about, plus the original cartoon. It's the cartoon styling with the arcade, the beat 'em up styling. But it's a good game. I love it. It's a complete trip down, walk down memory lane. And we've got what I've loved about Shredder's Revenge is we've got to see characters we haven't seen before, or at least in a while, with some of these games. In previous ones.
Tempestra.
Tempestra.
Mm-hmm.
Just the ability to be able to play, like actually have playable characters that you normally wouldn't have been able to play. It was one of the 4 turtles. And every now and then, maybe like Shredder, or not Shredder, but Splinter.
Yeah, I'm almost done with my Splinter playthrough currently. I did Leo, then Splinter. Leo's my favorite. I will always go to Leo first. He's my turtle. And maybe some of that, I tend to always go to those type of characters, the leader, straight laced,
the good guy,
the best of the best, good guy, the Captain Americas,
the responsible
ones. I always go to those, whether it's Leo, Captain America, any of those type characters. But yeah, no, I did the Leo playthrough. And I'm almost done with my Splinter playthrough. Yeah, we know, Joan. We know, Voice.
So yeah, playthrough. Splinter was the last one I played through, and I'll be honest, he was the roughest character I think of all of them. he has great power, but he moves just way too slow. I mean, he's an old
yeah. That's what I'm having issues with.
But I started with Leo as well, and then I moved on because after you play through, you can unlock Casey. So I played through Casey, and then I just went down the list from there: Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, April, and then Splinter. And I've got every one of them at 10. They're all maxed out.
I'm sure you've got the achievement.
I have the achievement. Yeah, go figure. But I have to say that of the characters, my favorite ones aren't any of the turtles at all. My favorite characters to play so far have been Casey and April.
Okay. I need to give them a shot. I'm
gonna agree with one of the chat posts there. It was Donnie. See, Donnie is my favorite. I always played Donatello.
Well, and I was about to say I was gonna call that out. That's what I've always loved about the Turtles and in the series as a whole is they've always given you someone to identify with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that smart geeky type, Donnie's your guy. If you're very relaxed and chill, and hang out, Mikey's your guy.
Well, see that was he. Like you see, like this is Leo's second favorite. Well, Donnie was my favorite, but Michelangelo was my second.
Yeah.
So those were the two that I played with. Raphael, I really didn't want to play with him that much. But
see, I relate.
Leo.
I love Leo because I stand by those leadership strength principles, and that's why I'm drawn to Captain America. I cosplayed Captain America for a number of years. Yes, the new online, the new Turtles game does have online co-op. You can have up to 6 people play together at once. I'd love to load a game full of people with that.
And not only does it have that, it is actually cross-platform too.
Yeah, so pick which one you want to do. You can get people together, but in reality, I do relate a lot to Raph because I get the anger. Anger. Well, and not just so much. I mean, y'all know, unfortunately, I am a road rager. But I get so much with what goes on with Raph internally. I get that. I do. I mean, he's probably maybe my third favorite turtle because I love Mikey. I love his lightheartedness. But as far if you were to draw an actual real direct comparison, Raph does. I get him. I understand Raph a lot and sympathize. Sympathize, I guess, would be the right word with him. But I guess really to go in a list, I would say probably Leo, Mikey, and then Raph, and then Donnie for me.
I think I'll have to go Leo, Raph, Donnie, Mikey.
Okay. Where you got, Lazy?
Oh my gosh.
On the spot.
Donnie, it would be Donnie, Mikey, then Raph, then Leo.
Okay.
If I was going to choose, and then I mean, honest to goodness, I think of all of them, I would probably be more apt to be Casey Jones. And not even be a turtle. Just be some crazy dude that runs around in a hockey mask.
Crazed dude.
Beating people up with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Is this a Jose Canseco bat?
Tell me you didn't pay money for this.
Tell me you didn't pay money for this.
Let's go Jason Voorhees.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely I could relate to a man running around New York City beating people up with a baseball.
He's tired of the shit, and by God, I'm going to whoop some damn criminals. Hey, I get that too. I do like Casey. I'm not, I only made a list based on the Turtles only, but I do love Casey.
2 minutes for hooking, 2 minutes for high sticking. 2 minutes for unnecessary roughness, pal.
Crumpet. You gotta understand cricket before you understand crumpet.
Oh, that whole scene was it was a good scene.
It was perfect. Going back to the previous episode, I just love that movie. It's aged well. It's good. And beats most comic book movies that are coming out now. Yeah. But
yeah, but there's reasonings behind that.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It has a lot to do with people just can't leave stuff well enough alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you have the content, you have the storyline.
Use it.
Just use it.
Make it work. Make it make sense. I promise I'm not going to go into a Kenobi rant in this episode. I'll just stop right there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Don't do it. No, we're not ready for that yet.
We will add a fourth geek for that episode. And that maybe that'll be like a mini episode or something. We just do that one because I'm not ready to go full tilt.
Like just people cussing.
Yeah. But anyway,
big long bleep.
That episode maybe rated X for
that language. That one might tilt us on into the Founders Tribute.
Oh, so many things.
I'm not going to do it. I agree. Kenobi is my favorite. Kenobi is my favorite Jedi, and that's where the show got personal for me when they did things that I did not agree with. I'm going to stop there. Change the same. Get me off my soapbox. I ain't doing it this episode. I promise. Yeah, right there. Boom.
All right.
But Shredder's Revenge, great game. It really brought back a lot of memories. The developers did great with it, and you can tell they did their homework and they cared about the material.
It's the same people who did the Streets of Rage 4 game. They really did their homework and their research for Streets of Rage before they released Streets of Rage 4.
That game just looks hilarious.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Yeah,
it is fantastic. And so I have to say that if they do another one, like if they take another franchise and they make a sequel or another game for that franchise, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, I'm going to probably say, yeah, I'm going to get it. No matter what that is.
They've earned my confidence as a developer. And that's rare these days because I love Streets of Rage 4 and I've loved Shredder's Revenge. But yeah, they've earned my confidence as a developer for now. And that doesn't always, and that's not a knock against them. Unfortunately, developers do change. And I mean, I've had trusted developers that have lost me, right. Ones I thought I could trust. But yeah, it's for now they've earned my confidence. Because I do. I love a good beat 'em up.
And they have done fantastic with the two that they've released.
Yeah. And it's just there's just something, with that style of game and gaming, it's just it's simple. I like to check out and just have fun. I mean, it's kind of like with Hollywood and some of their movies now versus the old movies. And obviously the core reason we kind of formed this channel was, even if the premise was just out there, the movies back then when we were growing up were fun. That's why we've done this. And so to go back to that simple formula for the game, it's a blast. I love it. Like I said, again, I know I'm beating a dead horse here now at this point. They've earned my trust as a developer. I'll be buying more from them, checking out more from them.
Beat it.
Shredder's Revenge, I kind of see that it's actually a direct. I see it as a direct Turtles 4, Turtles in Time sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stages that when you go through the stages, you kind of see at one point you've got the Technodrome, but it's in shambles.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the leftovers from where they went in 4 and just trashed the place, right? So it's kind of left over from that. It has so many references to the past games. It's not even funny. For instance, the NES, the first NES Ninja Turtles game, when it was doing its opening sequence, it had Shredder there on the TV talking and pointing, and as you go through one of the stages, there's this TV set up on the back wall where it's got Shredder there.
That immediately jumped out at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that. And that, and that's another story. Again, tying back to those memories. I remember actually, because I was like so entranced with Turtles as a kid then. Like I wanted that to be like this legit like thing. I had Dad actually record that on one of our on the camcorder. That little bit in the original NES Turtles, that scene.
Nice.
Because it was just, I don't know, it was just real to me. It was like Shredder's always been a cool villain to me. But yes, that scene did jump out at me immediately.
It was good. And
yeah,
it just the whole overworld map that it displays throughout the game is very reminiscent of the opening stages and the overworld map for the first NES game as well. Kind of does a throwback to that. You have free roam. You can go where you want as long as you've opened up the pathway, but you don't have free roam as in you can go wherever you want, turn how you want, what direction you want. You can't shoot things or run over foot soldiers or anything to that effect. So
yeah. But no, I think it was a great game. I will buy more from those guys. I don't know if they'll see it on the Twitter, because actually I think one of the guys that maybe worked for them at one point liked one of my posts about Shredder's Revenge. So I'm gonna
sees this and
yeah, I mean just a lot of props to those guys, because they did well. They did their homework and they paid homage to a great series. And that was just kind of the whole point of this episode, was just the love of that series and beat 'em ups and what those games mean to us and Turtles as a whole, because obviously it's been a two-parter. We two-parter. We talked about the first Turtles movie last episode.
Touched on the second and third one.
Touched a little bit on those two. I don't know if they warrant a whole episode themselves. As I said in the previous episode, Turtles 2 has had very drastic diminishing returns for me, as I've realized kind of the Turtles franchise as a whole. And then just what, the moms did between Turtles 1 and Turtles 2.
Right.
And it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the problem. But yeah, it's kind of been the premise for these past two episodes.
Just a quick, just throw this in there too. Saw the question earlier about the Turtles having the new Turtles game having online co-op or just local. Then we said, yeah, it does have co-op 1 to 6 players. Remember that if you have Xbox Game Pass, it is free with the Xbox Game Pass. So you can basically play and play it and have to pay no money.
I bought it.
I bought it too, but I didn't know. I didn't catch. They never, in any formal announcement, said it was going to be a Game Pass game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have paid. But at the same time, I'm glad I paid, because honestly, the developers earned this. They deserved, absolutely.
Which goes to a link that I just sent you guys, which is I mean, you can take a look at it there. I think you were telling me about it before.
From Limited Run Games.
Limited Run Games, yeah. And the throwback to that is one of the things is a free Pizza Hut personal pan pizza coupon. So
I saw that when because I pre-ordered the super awesome mega collector's edition of that. But I did see that, and my thought was
that the radical edition?
Yeah, it's not the one that's like literally every single console version. No, I just want the one for one console because I've got it for Xbox, so I'm going for the Switch version. With that, but yeah, I'm looking at that.
That thing comes with a VHS tape.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it do.
Yeah, that's that is ridiculous.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah, it do. kind of like talking like Mikey from the 2012 series.
Yeah, it do.
I want to get there actually in a second while we're on it. But yeah. Yeah, I did pre-order the limited run games version of it. Yeah, VHS tape. I know it's like, what is this dinosaur thing?
I just want to get it just so I can show it to my kids and be like, hey,
what do you do with this decorated brick?
You know what this is?
I will buy you a personal pan pizza if you can tell me what this thing does. What do you do with it? There you go. There's a way to screw with your kids.
It's like the lady trying to get her kids to dial a phone number on an old rotary dial phone.
And
they're like pushing. What the? I don't understand.
Oh, the old rotary phone. But yeah. Anyway, the new Turtles game, limited run games, Game Pass. It is out there if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber. Oh yeah, try to figure out what it was for. Yeah,
found it in the basement.
And I've thrown away a decent amount of them. Was it Land Before Time? The one that I couldn't remember. You think I'd know it because I love that movie. I love dinosaurs as a kid. I know
that's why I was so shocked. I was like, "What?"
I don't know why, and I hadn't even had that much whiskey yet. I mean, damn, Littlefoot. That was early in the show.
Run, Littlefoot, run.
But I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know. Maybe it's just old age at this point. I blanked out, and Google had to fill in the blanks. But yeah,
leave it to Google.
Game Pass, it is out there. You don't have to pay anything, but in my mind, I would encourage you to go ahead and buy it because I feel like definitely the developers deserve it.
Because they had a good product, they ought to be rewarded for it.
They should. They should in this case. And that's honestly, that's a big reason why I'm buying the limited run edition of the game, the physical copy for a different console. It's just because I appreciate what they've done. I do. I really do. But kind of getting close to wrapping up. We're at our normal wrap up time, close to it. Again, though, I'm very happy with the dialogue, the discussion. You know, when we first started this, we thought, well, can we keep something going for even half an hour?
Can we really talk that much?
Right. And literally every episode has been at least this long, if not longer.
I think the last one's been our longest so far.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty long.
Was pretty long.
Considering.
Yeah. But and I'll say it, you know, watching now, we appreciate it. We really, really do appreciate it. And I'll try my best to give heads up when we are going to do a show, and try and I don't want to get on a schedule yet, but I will at least try and give a heads up. I don't want to be so disciplined yet. Maybe when we get like 10,000 followers. Oh yeah, what's the next topic? I don't know. We'll close with that. We'll try and figure out because this is wrapping up our Turtles.
Oh my gosh, we'll be on here for another hour.
Yeah. Now next episode, we should shift to a movie, to an older movie. We'll discuss something around that.
Ooh.
But we'll get to that towards the end.
I wonder what it could be.
wide open. I mean, I've got a list. I've got a long list of what we can talk about. And again, going back to how long we've been able to carry out an episode, I'm happy. I'm happy with it, and I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. Stupid. Yeah, Ernest scared stupid.
Ernest goes to camp.
Oh yes.
That was one of my most
actually, I'll be honest. If we did an Ernest episode, I know a guy who we could get on stream. He does Ernest impersonations. He's actually a Smoky Mountain Ghostbuster, but he has also crossed over to Ernest impressions. I know a guy. I might be able to get him on. He's a great guy. Great guy. He's one of the Smoky Mountain Ghostbusters. But we might, if we ever go Ernest, I know a guy. And he could do the impression. He's a great guy. He's a really good guy.
I will look forward to that.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do. I can reach out to him, but if we go Ernest, yeah, I've got us covered.
There's an idea. It's throwing out the Wizard.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, the Wizard is a good idea, and that's one we've mentioned it in past.
Yes, numerous times.
Actually, I was going to say, I think we mentioned it like maybe the first episode. I know
we did.
We did because
it was brought up again. I think in the second one because we were talking about.
We brought it up this time.
It's so easy to go to that because in the grand scheme of movie reviews and top 100 or 500 or whatever movies, the Wizard doesn't hit the top of those lists. But if you're a gamer, it's special. The Wizard, and like I said in episode 1 or 2 or whatever, I'm old, I forget. It validated us.
It really did.
It did.
That was the first movie that I can recall, probably because maybe it is the first movie that showcased video games.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe you think back to The Last Starfighter or something to that effect. But the thing is the Wizard put in it what we knew, what we were familiar with, and what we already loved.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it was basically the world's biggest Super Mario Bros. 3 commercial.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But it also had Double Dragon and Ninja Gaiden, a few others were in there. So it really did help set the foundation of validating who and what people like us.
What we did, and I'll save this for down the road, but as someone who was bullied for being a gamer and liking what I do and what we do, and in a time before gaming was mainstream, the Wizard, it was special to me. It validated a lot of things and helped almost kind of create a shield around that bullying. Because I was a gamer, and video games is for kids. I'll stop there. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to keep going. But yeah, it made it positive. It did. You're right. It made it positive. It made it something special and connected with me. And it's always been something I've carried with me. Like I said, it'll never probably be a top 500, maybe even 1,000 movie. But the Wizard was very, very special to me. So no, I'm glad you mentioned that. We've mentioned it, but I'm glad it has that same effect on people.
Right.
I've just always like a bucket list of playing Mario 3 on a screen that big.
You know what?
No doubt.
Maybe we can go out to the local movie theater and rent out the screen
and just play.
The closest I've gotten.
That could be an extra life thing right there.
There you go. The closest I've gotten, and I know I'm Southern. I can't English. I don't give a damn. The closest I've got to, there we go. There's the actual correct English. It came out. To that sort of thing was when I was in New York City several years ago, like 2015, I think. they were doing their own Nintendo World Championships. And the games was, if I remember right, and granted, I've had a little whiskey in me, I apologize. It was Super Mario Brothers. Then there was a brief bit of Super Mario Brothers 3, and then it finally ended in Dr. Mario. The closest I've got to that was on probably a 55-inch screen, if I had to guess, with a bunch of other gamers from New York City. That's the closest I've got to that level of like playing with an audience and like going for this high score. I ended up placing 7th, but I did get some oohs and ahs from some of my Dr. Mario tricks and tactics and quick flips, trying to get some of the viruses. Oh, man. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, whoever shredded that deserves a kick.
I would beat their ass. That's what so many people, and I'll say this, at this point, I don't care how long we go. We're talking. We've got content. We grew up in a time where we were bullied for this stuff. Shit. We were. And that's bullshit. I'm sorry. That sucks. Because I know what it means to get that. Because that same 3 days when I was in New York, when I did that competition, it was E3. So the next morning, we got to test out Star Fox for the Wii U. And if you played it, they gave you a set of Star Fox wings. And I've still got those wings. And that's special, And, to have that shredded, I'm sorry. That sucks.
This is a
I get it.
Metroid medallion that came with the Super Metroid game that I've had since Super Metroid came out. So having these things and holding on to them is just something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a coworker. He's a much, much younger guy. Great guy. He's a good guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Yeah, he loves hearing about my wings. But yeah, they were special events to us, and like I said before, video gaming became mainstream, and I would park that timeline probably about the PlayStation 2 if I were to park it. I mean, PS1 a little bit, but it was PS2 when suddenly everything shifted, and it only just grew from there. But yeah, everything before that, it was. I'm sorry. I do. I remember a time where playing a video game got me bullied, and then it's like suddenly it was cool.
It was. It wasn't. I got. I won't say that I got full on bullied, but I definitely got treated differently because I would watch, cartoons. I would watch, not just Ninja Turtles, but like Power Rangers. Going back to Power Rangers, I was watching Power Rangers.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, okay.
And I'll just go ahead and inject this right here. The joke's on those assholes, and they know who they are.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I was watching Power Rangers. One obviously, yeah, because of the Zords and the robots, the giant robots.
Who doesn't want giant robots fighting monsters?
Right. It was cool, but yeah, Pink Ranger. I'm just going to stop it right there. As a 5th grader at that time, Pink Ranger. Oh yeah, y'all know you're right.
Anime, yeah, that was another point.
Vampire Hunter D. Gosh, I love D. I wish
the graphic novels are excellent too.
I wish over the years they had done more with Vampire Hunter D. I'm very Yeah, there is so much material they've left laying there with Vampire Hunter D. What are you doing? Yeah, no, Vampire Hunter D. But yeah, Pink Ranger. I mean, it's like you're mocking me, and I'm like, do you see this really pretty
Amy Jo
girl?
Johnson, maybe.
Where Amy Jo Johnson, or even Catherine Sutherland, the next Pink Ranger. I mean, that's just the truth of it. That's what it was when we were, at that age. In a very similar fashion to, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher for young lads at that time.
I kind
mean,
of fit into that dynamic as well.
Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, it's just
I actually watched that one. I specifically watched
it is.
It
is what it is. I'm not trying to be any sort of ism on that, but it is what it is. I mean, that's we were being what we boys. Boys will be boys. It is what it is. Not meaning any ill or anything malicious or whatnot, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I was made fun of for that. I was made fun of for Animaniacs, which honestly, Animaniacs more than Power Rangers has grown more hilarious to me because it's like you're the dumbass that couldn't read between the lines with Animaniacs. Animaniacs got pretty risque if you were
paying attention.
There was a reason why, like the college age kids loved that. Like when my brother was in college, and of course I was still in high school. Mm-hmm. He said that they would have like they're at the university. They would have rooms of people that would just go in and sit and watch, like in these common rooms, and there'd be 30, 40 people in there watching Animaniacs.
Yeah,
we need because for Prince.
I was made fun of by another middle schooler.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
that's the one scene that comes to mind every time.
And yeah, I was made fun of by another middle schooler, dumbass as he is, for watching Animaniacs, and I'm just like, you don't get it. You don't get it.
Do you remember Joe Cool?
The camel?
No. The one on was it 43? Kids 43?
Oh yeah, the dude that he wore the sunglasses and
wore sunglasses.
Yeah.
And all that other fun jazz. And he was on, like, they had it was the kids, whatever. I don't know. It's like Channel 43 Kids Club or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And he came on. He was on like during the cartoons.
Yeah.
And I had in middle school had a kids club card because I was part of that, and I got made fun of for that. And of course, my rebuttal to that was, well, with this card, I get free stuff, so the joke's on you,
right?
And you'd never seen like just totally derailed that whole, the whole dialogue, because they weren't expecting, like, well, that's stupid kid stuff. It's like, well, this stupid kid stuff gets me free crap. So,
right. I know.
I'm sorry you don't like free stuff, but I do.
I get free things. Read between the lines. California, howdy.
Yeah.
And that shut them down pretty quick.
No, I'll and we may even continue. And this may end up being a common theme. I mean, so much of the way things are, and it's like, no, I'm sorry. We've held up a lot of franchises and dealt with a lot of shit over the years to maintain those franchises before they were ever, I guess, mainstream. I mean, I welcome anybody to enjoying in on these franchises, but it's like, we held a lot of stuff up and dealt with a lot of shit for stupid reasons. I mean, for stupid reasons. And it's like, if they'd paid attention to any of the content, I mean, there was nothing, whatever. But yeah, that may end up being a common theme for what we do. But yeah,
it is what it is. And I mean, and the thing is kids are savage.
Even now. I mean, back
Now.
20 years ago and now.
I mean, I will
30
have
years.
we don't have to deal with cyberbullying, so
that too is a big kind of deal in the sense of you've got kids now where there's no, I mean, which I've touched on this, and I've even pretty much all but, well, I say all but I have actually banned the playing of Fortnite in my house by anybody, including myself. And it has a lot to do with just, the kids. I mean, it's the kids that are on there playing that game. They have made that, that group so well known for being a bunch of jerk faces that I don't want any part of it. I don't want my kids to be any part of it. And so I specifically target that one and say, you will not play that game.
Yeah.
You didn't. Yeah.
There's a big disconnect, compared to what we did with multiplayer back then. That creates this weird, like I said, disconnect for kids now.
Oh, and you had multiplayer. If you started talking smack, you were sitting in the same room with somebody.
You better, you better be ready to throw down.
Not hard. Like you sitting right across, literally right next to them. You best watch your mouth.
I mean, I remember sitting in the same room on the N64 playing 007. Everyone's going through, the split screen going, and we're throwing proximity mines everywhere we go, and in the compound level, and we find one and get blown up, and we look at the other one, slug you in the arm. You son of a bitch!
Are you looking at my screen? Are you looking at my screen? Quit looking at my screen.
I'm the Undertaker.
I'm the Undertaker.
that one was the one that's absolutely. I lost it when I heard that. It's like, no, I'm the Undertaker. I'm the Undertaker.
And here's the thing: the first person shooter's dying a lot more than you kill. Oh man, if you could join us when we play Battlefield 1 every now and then, our KD ratios usually are not that hot.
I'm about to say it took a long time for me to get a positive one. Then once I got a positive one, I kind of just quit because I'm like, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to lose it. There we go. I lost my one F-bomb.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. All right. If we have any more F-bombs, we are now R-rated.
That was our first ever.
That was our first F-bomb.
I was wondering who was going to drop
it. But yeah. Yeah.
I could see how you could die a lot in Battlefront too.
Yeah.
Battlefield.
We played a lot of Battlefield 1
did, with the Vantech clan too, and the thing is that game infuriated me because of
most online infuriates me anymore.
Camping morons. They would sit there with a tank looking at the spawn point. Boom. Bunny hopping noob tubers. Man alive.
But yeah. Thankfully they've tried to do a little better where your spawn points, are kind of back in an area where you can't really pick somebody off in the spawn.
A little more protected now compared to how it used to be.
So, I mean, unless you're spawning in, and they've randomized them too. So, I mean, you're not going to stand right at a spawn area because everybody's spawning at the same spot, because somebody may spawn there this time, but then somebody's spawning behind where you're standing the next. So you're not going to be sitting there just picking people off.
Right.
It's not the same spawning. It's now different places. So,
but that is too. We've kind of moved away from some of the first person shooter stuff too. As far as FPSs are concerned, just because of the fact that it did like you said with Fortnite, and it made it so competitive. I mean, that's like PUBG and some of the others that are like the big, survival type. You got 100 people. What's the other one? Apex Legends.
Right.
That one, that was another one. Is like I played it maybe twice, and I was just like, dude, all right, no,
I'm out.
I'm out. This is ridiculous. But I mean, a lot of the more team based, more like squad based stuff like that. Battlefield is a good one because it is very squad based. If you don't have a good squad, you suck. I mean, you're going to die a lot.
As that old man gamer, yeah, I'm definitely more in line with cooperative. Let's get together as a group, kind of thing.
But then we've also not all of us, but some of us. I'm not going to mention any names. Tactical Geek. Or have been playing Ark Survival Evolved.
You might want to get that checked during the.
Yeah, I might.
I mean, Joe Voice over here.
Joe Voice.
You suck at tactical. I want you to know that.
I know. Joe Voice over here.
Alejandro
El Grande de Voice Geek.
Le Voice Geek.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fuck, I don't even know where I was going. Damn it. There's 2. We're now R-rated. I don't know. I don't know where I was going. I completely
by attacking me. I think
I was going somewhere and it's gone. What were you saying? Lazy?
You talking about how you won't play Ark with us.
Yeah.
And then you were coming at me.
I agree.
Plan before time.
Dinosaur poop's a good reason to not play Ark.
Dinosaur poop?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is like the least of your worries.
I'm just going with the chat. I'm following the chat.
I hear a loud thumping noise. What is that? Oh my.
Hey, the dinosaurs aren't the only thing that poop in that game, okay?
I'm sure. I've heard enough from you all about it.
It poops.
You have to get fertilizer somewhere to grow your crops. I mean, come on. It's a thing.
I don't know. It's too late because, I mean, y'all keep playing it. And my mindset is by the time I install it, then you're going to shift to something else. So y'all keep playing.
I can tell you one thing about Ark. One thing that is constant about Ark is that, we will shift from it every now and then, but we do come back. Yeah,
but you did that. We did that with Minecraft for a while, and I'm fine. I think I'm finally done with Minecraft. So I don't know. I'm at that point. It's like no, I can't. But the moment I do, you all will drop it.
I've been on Minecraft in the past 3 days.
I have too, actually.
I'm all over the place.
That's mine was always I can hear something, but I can't see it. So like, especially on the island map where you're flying, with your trusty RG, and you hear boom, 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 and you just see the bushes start moving or the trees, and the next thing you know, a Giga jumps out.
So right here, and it's just an excuse to use that handy tool. So the thing on this is if you're playing through Steam or on PlayStation or on Switch, no can do, honcho, because we're on Xbox. Xbox and PC are the only 2 that can cross. So if you have it on PC, we're good. Or if you have it on Xbox, we're good.
If you've gotten it through the Xbox store on PC.
Right.
Or on Microsoft. Microsoft store.
Good clarification.
Well, because actually,
Epic Games had it for free.
Kind of cycling back to the turtle thing of tonight. I do try and keep us pretty decently within 5 square miles of a topic. Before we did the stream, we were looking at maybe trying to do like some Turtles Shredder's Revenge live, and when Voice tried to join my game, it like wanted to reference me on the PC version, to the Epic's game store. I'm like, no, I don't do this Epic stuff. I mean, I downloaded from Game Pass the Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. So I don't even know why it was sending me there. So troubleshooting coming, but
yeah, we got some bugs to work out.
Yeah. But we may actually do some live streaming of some games, especially through StreamYard. StreamYard's very, very user friendly. I mean, actually, Voice is a moderator, so that's why he was able to pop up the chat. So we got a little extra cover. We had some bots last episode that was kind of annoying and kind of ruined. Had to do a lot of editing.
Yeah,
it was a pain in my ass, and I am very thankful we've not had that tonight. But we're at this point we're knocking on 2 hours. I'm not going to say we have the popularity to carry on a 4-hour show like others, so we'll try and wrap this up here.
At this point, I'm sure we could do it.
But we could. I mean, I mean, that's what I like about our little group here. Whether we have 1, 2, 3, or 1,000 subscribers, I don't care. Well, this would kind of be the conversation we'd be having anyway, if we were just playing on Xbox and we happen to have this wild thought of
this is what we normally have on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, if the wizard popped into our head, we'd be like, oh, yeah, you remember that about that movie? I mean, it would be. So it's like,
this is a conversation in the parking lot of Waffle House.
Of the Waffle House. Yeah.
Oh, golly. Talk about food again, dude.
Well, I'm fat. What can I say?
Too late to eat.
I swear, if we ever hit a point that we can really get some decent guests, I swear I would love, it's a pipe dream, to get you and Az from Heels versus Babyface. I don't know if you've watched him, but I swear, because he's from the UK. So, like, the argument would be that we have the American Az with you. I'm just go ahead and say it and put it out there.
So you call him the voice in Az?
No, AZ.
Oh.
AZ.
Oh, okay.
Az from Heel versus Babyface. Great channel. I like the guy because he kind of, in fact, during a few tweets earlier today, I told him, I said, man, that's why I like you. You talk kind of like I do. You use the vocabulary that I like to use without using a few other words to put us into some other rating beyond R. I don't know. I doubt they're, but yeah, it'd be like, you could be the American version of Az because you shape your head's clean. Very similar. But you also rant as well as he does too, and can lash out some good harsh language.
And I am doing everything I can to keep from doing that here.
As was super extreme. We're being all right. But yeah, we're having fun. It don't matter to me how many subscribers we got, because this would be kind of our normal conversation anyway. But we got some good ideas, I think, heading towards the next episode.
We know it'll be a movie.
It'll definitely be. Right now, currently, we're alternating, and I don't know. The theme may eventually change, but we're going to alternate. So tonight was a video game one, obviously Turtles. Next week we'll try and focus on a movie. It may be The Wizard. I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to swing for the fences too often for some really big ones, because if we do manage to get a following, I'd like to maybe save those for when a lot of people maybe want to watch.
We can always revisit,
yeah. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of obscure movies that don't get a lot of love. So we've got a lot of room for content.
Elvis versus Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, scuttling.
But yeah, so kind of wrapping it on up. That's where we're headed. Movie next week. We'll think about it. We'll talk about it. I will try and give a little better heads up. We'll talk about when we will do the next episode. Taco about it. When we do the next episode, it will be, we try and do one a week. We're trying to at least maintain that much. Now, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Kind of depends.
That's what old people wear.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. We could maybe do the Wizard next week. I don't know that one's so swinging for the fences, extreme, awesome.
I will have to rewatch it. It's been a few years.
I've got it on digital. I may rewatch it because there's little bits here and there that even I forgot. The last time I watched, and that's been relatively recently. We may do the Wizard. I'm not going to commit to it, but I'm going to lean towards the Wizard.
We'll see what other ideas we throw around between here and there.
But we'll try our best to do a heads up and a notice. But again, we've maintained for a considerable amount of time now, 3 to 4 users, and it is greatly appreciated. The watching, the interaction, it's very much appreciated. Like I said, we're not out to pay our bills with this. We're just friends that have done this a long time and have known each other a long time, that like talking about this stuff, and it's worked for other people, so we figure, hey, why not? But it is appreciated. It is noticed. So thank you.
I guess that being said, as usual, and as our little mini Transformer geek earlier said, like, share, subscribe. We'll put it at the start and the finish.
Yep. Yeah, I'll wrap up the post-production and try and get some more links out for anybody that wants to watch after the fact. And we've had a decent bit of interaction after the fact for watching afterwards. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. Anybody else with Turtles? Anybody else? I think we pretty well covered at least the games that are important to us. I know we've missed some games. But I think we covered what's special to us about the Turtles franchise.
Yeah. Anything after Turtles 4 or anything between Turtles 4 and Shredder's Revenge, I haven't touched or played, so I know nothing about it.
And that's pretty much me. That's pretty much me as well. There was a few I wanted to try, but they ended up coming out to pretty mediocre reviews, and I ended up skipping them.
Yeah.
So
Change it.
Oh, there would be an episode. Beavis and Butthead Do America. And they got that new movie out.
That'd be cool.
I almost want to find a free trial or something for Paramount Plus to check out that new Beavis and Butthead movie.
Cut it out, fart knocker.
So, all right. This is now officially our longest episode, and again, I'll just say it, how amazed I am that we've managed to maintain a solid, constant dialogue, no pauses, no real long breaks. Yes, Transformers the movie would be another great one.
You got the touch.
We talking 86.
You got the power.
Yep. And oddly enough, G.I. Joe the movie is doing a revisit for its anniversary. To theaters right now. I think tonight and the 23rd.
Shut up.
Just singing.
Sorry, I love this. That was the best.
It had a
full on
balls to the wall amazing soundtrack.
80s opening song.
You can't get a more 80s soundtrack than the Transformers the movie soundtrack.
And it had Weird Al in it.
It had Weird Al. Put it. Oh wait, hang on. All right, keep going. Keep talking. Because I said earlier, Metalhead.
True. Very true.
Oh, yes.
So we are definitely going to go past the 2-hour mark on this one. But look at him. He's getting up. He's going. He didn't have a bladder buster, and that's not why I left, by the way.
Yeah.
But that would be actually a pretty good one to try and bring in and do. Maybe even some Bayformers a little bit later. We can kick that in the balls. Orson Welles' last role Oh man, and stories I've heard about him coming into the recording studio for that.
Accidentally knocked over my
your nuclear reactor shooter.
Yeah, oops. That's not what I went to grab.
His nuke pooter.
Metalhead. The light does reflect off it a little horridly.
Yeah. This is from Super 7. They've started redoing a lot of the and this is why I prefer their brand. So you got Nika and Super 7 competing with the Turtles franchise. So Nika does cartoon accurate. Super 7 does original action figure accurate. And so that's what I love so much about what the Super 7 did, is because to me, I connect to those toys because that's what I had. That's what I could physically touch. So yeah, this is my Super 7 Metalhead action figure. And it's a whole sewer play set behind me. But yeah, no, I back to very early in the episode. No, I'm with Lazy.
You're lazy?
You're lazy and Joe Voice. I'll work on that. I'm sorry. It's really freaking hard.
I'm so sorry.
Back to what Mr. Lazy Ass Geek was saying. There you go. There's your new name. I'm going to change it to Mr. Lazy Ass Geek.
00 Dingus.
Yeah.
I'm going to start singing again if you keep it up.
Even if I don't, you would sing.
That's true.
Yeah, it's the Super 7. What we're talking about, Metalhead, it's just a great figure. You know, the Super 7 version's awesome. And then, the original version. So, talking about that original figure, there you go. There's a good wrap-up point.
We'll end it on Turtles.
Yeah, we got to at least end it on the topic we intended to start out with for tonight. But yeah, no, we've got a lot of options. Between the Wizard, the Transformers movie, a lot of stuff that honestly, even from other YouTubers, I've not seen. So I want to talk about and maybe try and. I don't want to completely avoid what other YouTubers have talked about, but maybe we'll kind of like weave a little bit, and do stuff off the beaten path, plus stuff that everybody expects. Everybody expects to hear you talk about anymore. Would be my thoughts.
Perfect.
So. But again, I can't say enough how much it is appreciated having an audience tonight, and having that commentary, as the voice, his youngling has said, like, subscribe, keep tuned in. Yeah, we'll be back next week.
He will bring milk to your house.
He will bring you milk.
The deliverer of the milk.
What milk? We do not know.
I don't know. I guess maybe it's spoiled milk. Otherwise, I'm welcome milk.
Yeah, there you go. But all right, we'll call it there. That will conclude our retrospective on the Ninja Turtles games and kind of what it's meant to us. Yeah. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We will be back with more. And I do feel like we're getting into a groove now. Getting a little looser, a little more comedy.
Shake your groove thing, shake your groove thing.
So, good times. But yeah, and actually, I think I may try and start. And might be my goal for number 5 is to have some credits. so we can roll to a credit video when we're done or something instead of just cutting it cold. But for now, we're cutting it cold. Thanks again. Tune in next week. I don't have an exact date yet. We'll try our best to get word out.
Yep.
But again, thank you. It does mean a lot.
Dankeschön.
So with that, we'll call it, and we'll see you back for number 5 of the 8-bit Atomic Geeks.
Take care.
See you. Bye.